ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Canto 1, Chapter 9, Verse 17. तस्मादिदं दैवतन्त्रं व्यवस्य व्यवस्य भरतर्षभ तस्यानुविहितो नाथा नाथ पाहि प्रजाप्रभो. O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthira, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should now take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. The continuation of what surrender means. Just whatever happens in the life of a devotee, if a devotee surrendered, then he'll simply accept everything as the inconceivable plan of the Lord, because we are too tiny to actually understand what is happening in our life. Um, so faith means not taking a negative view of our life, right? Normally, when we are having to face a lot of challenges, etc. We take a very pessimistic view, saying that, oh, this is happening, this is for the bad, that is for the bad. Very few people actually take things positively. Mm. But at least for devotees, irrespective of whether our previous nature was pessimistic or optimistic, we should always understand that Lord is doing everything for our good. So we have to simply accept the inconceivable plan. He has a plan. And we must simply follow it. It's very important. The popular saying is that a housewife teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. Similarly, the Lord teaches the world by teaching the devotee, and this happens at all levels. At all, meaning somebody might be impacting tens of thousands of people, and Lord might be teaching tens of thousands of people by some devotee. Somebody else might just be one or two devotees around them. And for many of us, maybe it is just us, that Lord is teaching us first, right? Then He will teach the world through us. Um, the devotee does not have to learn anything from the Lord, because the Lord teaches a sincere devotee always from within, anything new from the Lord. So always there is teaching going on. For whom this word, you have to always remember this. Many times we keep getting confused. Maybe I'm not so exalted. I'm not such a pandit. I'm not this. I'm not that. None of this is the criteria for the Lord, right? For the Lord is just seeing whether there is sincerity in a individual or not. And if a devotee is sincere, irrespective of what externally he is able to do in terms of, what are so-called considered as uh, big services, small services, etc. There's nothing big or small, right? But that's just perception. Oh, sitting on the Vyasas is a big service. Lord is not seeing any of that. Lord will help the sincere devotee even if he's sitting on the Vyasasana or if he's sweeping the floor, right? And the Lord may not, as in, of course, somebody sitting on the Vyasasana and not sincere, then it's worse, right? Than sincere any devotee doing any other service. So sincerity is what is required. Um, the Lord sees sincerity of the devotee, and then He teaches from within. So always we should be in learning mode, right? This is one very important thing in Krishna consciousness. We should always be in learning mode, whether we are whether we study, whether we have deep interest in studying scriptures or not, doesn't matter. Learning is happening. We have to figure that out. And which is why if we read Prabhupada's books, then it becomes much easier to recognize the learning because Prabhupada would have spoken about these things in his book. If you have not read Prabhupada's books extensively, then we should be in the association of devotees who have read Prabhupada's books, so that then they can, understand based on Prabhupada's books, saying that, oh, see, this is what is happening. So this is what you need to be learning, right? If you don't do either of them, then very difficult, very little chances to make progress. Because then our mundane viewpoint will override and we will look at everything from our mundane vision and we will not be able to recognize the hand of the Lord. So we should always be learning. Every moment of a devotee's life is learning and betterment. Right? It's not devotee cannot go down from whatever position he is in. He always has to go up because constantly Lord is with him, helping him to move up towards him. Whenever, therefore, a show is made to teach the devotee, as in the case of teachings of Bhagavad Gita, it is for the teaching of teaching the less intelligent men. So we should not think, oh, okay, some devotee is going through, some kind of trouble, etc. It's for teaching him. He might think that way, but we should understand it's for teaching us who are less intelligent people. A devotee's duty, therefore, is to ungrudgingly accept. So it is duty. See, Prabhupada saying it's a duty. We are duty bound to ungrudgingly accept tribulations from the Lord as a benediction. Prabhupada is directly saying tribulations are coming from the Lord. Huh? Uh, yeah, we will say karma phala, etc. But we should understand if we are sincere, Krishna could have just taken off those tribulations. But if something is coming and we are having to go through something, we should understand it's a benediction. And then it becomes our duty to ungrudgingly accept. See, that is why these statements give so much clarity, right? We don't have to get confused. How should I deal with my life, my challenges, my problems, etc. It's crystal clear, right? It's crystal clear. If we are sincere, anything that is happening in our life is Lord's mercy. We should ungrudgingly accept all those tribulations as a benediction, right? Why duty? Because Lord is teaching others through us. That's what Prabhupada is saying, right? The Pandavas were advised by Bhishmadeva to accept the responsibility of administration without hesitation. The poor subjects were without protection due to the battle of Kurukshetra, and they were awaiting the assumption of power by Maharaj Yudhishthira. A pure devotee of the Lord accepts tribulations as favors from the Lord. Pure devotee of the Lord, right? So very clear. Pure devotee means full faith. Full faith. He just accepts everything as favor. No pessimistic view. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no mundane difference between the two. So it's the tribulations and the Lord not different. So it's just favor. It's mercy. It's so beautiful. I mean, which is why some of these very significant sections of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's purports are simply amazing. But what happens is, because we are simply reading every day, we are not able to recognize, and I call these gems, GEMS gems, right? So precious statements that Prabhupada has written um, for a reason. If you can just simply, first of all, learn to recognize them. Yesterday, I was talking to a devotee who's hearing some of these sessions, and uh, the devotee was saying that now I understand how we should read Prabhupada's books. I said, see, that is the whole idea of these reading sessions. The reading sessions are not classes. The reading sessions are actually, the idea is to actually inspire, first of all, help us understand, saying that there are such beautiful statements in Prabhupada's purports. Learn to recognize them and understand that, this is how we have to read. If you don't read it in this way, we will never be influenced by Prabhupada's purports. And it's simply unimaginable. If Prabhupada's purports have not had an impact on a person, it is only possible if you are not reading it properly. Right? So please note, these reading sessions, don't replace them for, don't consider them as classes. They're just an attempt to inspire more and more devotees to read Prabhupada's books nicely. And if, yeah, the extent of my influence is maybe 10 people. If 10 people can do, then maybe hopefully sometime you will inspire others also to read Prabhupada's books and teach them how to read. That's the idea, right? Because it's just no words. How perfect these statements are. We should understand and appreciate because it's just practically applicable in all our lives. एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् आद्यो नारायण पुमान् मोहयन्मायया लोकं गूढश्चरति वृष्णिषु. This Sri Krishna, this Sri Krishna, Esha, this, not some Krishna, this Krishna, hmm, is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. Hmm. He is the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer. But he's moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us. And he's bewildering us with his self-created energy. Mohayan. Hmm. Actually, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the beginning of 10th canto, he writes how Yogamaya bewilders devotees in the spiritual world, and Mahamaya bewilders the non-devotees. Hmm. Of course, Yogamaya also can bewilder those pure devotees in the material world. So both are getting bewildered. Non-devotees are also bewildered, devotees are also bewildered. And that bewildering is by Krishna's self-created energy, his own energy, Maya. So this Krishna is the inconceivable original personality. He is the first Narayana. The Vedic system of acquiring knowledge is the deductive process. The Vedic knowledge is received perfectly by disciplic succession from authorities. Such knowledge is never dogmatic. Dogmatic. What is the exact meaning of dogmatic? Yeah, there's my dictionary. Rules, dogmatic people would never waver. Okay, like mm, strongly expressing your beliefs as if they are facts, right? It's not like just blindly, just simply accepting something without understanding like that. As ill-conceived by less intelligent persons. The mother is the authority to verify the identity of the father. He is the authority for such confidential knowledge. Therefore, authority is not dogmatic. In the Bhagavad Gita, this truth is confirmed in the second verse of the fourth chapter. Evam parampara praptam. Next one. And the perfect system of learning is to receive from the authority. The very same system is accepted universally as truth, but only the false arguer speaks against it. For example, modern spacecraft fly in the sky, and when scientists say that they travel to the other side of the moon, men believe these stories blindly because they've accepted the modern scientists as authorities. The authorities speak, and the people in general believe them. But in the case of Vedic truths, they have been taught not to believe. Even if they accept them, they give a different interpretation. Mayavad. Each and every man wants a direct perception of Vedic knowledge. They want a direct perception. But foolishly they deny it. This means that the misguided man can believe one authority, the scientist, but will reject the authority of the Vedas. The result is that people have degenerated. If somebody is not ready to accept Vedas, so this is the line of argument, saying that you are accepting other authorities. Why don't you accept the authority of the Veda? Yesterday, one of the devotees they were asking me, their daughter was asking this question, saying, "How can we believe that this, all this, whatever, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, how can we believe that these are actually real truths? How it might be that somebody just made up all this, right? See, this is what our modern education is teaching us, and exactly, Prabhupada, that's what Prabhupada is saying. You are ready to accept that, s- ill-informed or semi, or I should say ignorant only, right? Scientists, authors, people have written books, educationists, etc. We are ready to accept them as authorities, but we'll reject the authority of the Vedas. Result is the people have degenerated. So it becomes our responsibility to at least, whether somebody comes to the practice of bhakti, etc., is secondary. But it becomes all our duty to at least make people accept Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam on the basis of what has been told as authoritative. At least let them accept it. They might not come to the stage of practicing it, but at least they should accept it. Otherwise, it is as good as atheism. Scientist science, modern science means atheism mostly. They don't want to believe in any superior authority. They don't want to believe in God. Here is an authority speaking about Sri Krishna as the original person of Godhead and the first Narayana. Here is an authority speaking, Mahajana. Even such an impersonalist as Acharya Shankara has said in the beginning of his commentation on the Bhagavad Gita that Narayana, person of Godhead, is beyond the material creation. Narayana Paro Vyaktat. The universe is on one of the material creations, but Narayana is transcendental, para, to such material paraphernalia. So Prabhupada is saying that even Shankara Acharya has accepted Narayana as not belonging to this material world. Because normally people are influenced by this impersonalist thought process, especially in South India. Bhishmadeva is one of the 12 Mahajanas who know the principles of transcendental knowledge. His confirmation of Lord Sri Krishna's being the original person of Godhead is also corroborated by the impersonalist Shankara. All other acharyas have also confirmed the statement, and thus there is no chance of not accepting Lord Sri Krishna as the original person of Godhead. Bhishmadeva says that he is the first Narayana. This is also confirmed by Brahmaji in the Bhagavatam. Krishna is the first Narayana. In the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, there are unlimited numbers of Narayanas who are all the same personality of Godhead and are considered to be the plenary expansions of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Sanskrit term for plenary expansion is Amsha. Amsha Kala. The two words. Amsha is the first expansion. Expansion of Amsha is called Kala. Amsha basically just means that not all qualities of Krishna are displayed. That's all. That is why it is Amsha, part. Now, only as much as required is only displayed, is only in those. So they are non-different, but yet different because they are different personalities displaying different qualities. So they are all same personality of Godhead, uh, the same personality of Godhead. As in, they are same yet different, because they are displaying different qualities. So there is a person who is displaying different qualities. Krishna displaying different qualities in each of his different roles that he is uh, taking to play in his own creation. But they're all same. They're not different. We should understand that there's only one. They're all one personality of God. The first form of the Lord Sri Krishna first expands himself as the form of Baladeva, and Baladeva expands in so many other forms such as Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, Narayana, Purusha, Rama, Narasimha. It's just expansion, meaning it's the same person, is just expanding. All these expansions are one and the same Vishnu Tattva. And Shri Krishna is the original source of all the plenary expansions. is therefore the direct personality of Godhead. He is the creator of the material world and is the predominating deity known as Narayana in all the Vaikuntha planets. Therefore, his movements amongst human beings are another sort of bewilderment. The Lord therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita that foolish persons consider him to be one of the human beings without knowing the intricacies of his movements. Of course, he's not a human being, and it's not that they are different persons, they are the same person. They're all one and the same. They're just expansions and expansions of expansions, like that. The bewilderment regarding Sri Krishna is due to the action of his twofold internal and external energies upon the third one, called the marginal energy. The living entities are expansions of his marginal energy, and thus they are sometimes bewildered by the internal energy and sometimes by the external energy. By internal energetic bewilderment, Sri Krishna expands himself into unlimited numbers of Narayanas and exchanges or accepts transcendental loving service from living entities in the transcendental world. This is the internal energy bewilderment. We can't understand that they are the same. And by his external energetic expansions, he incarnates himself in the material world amongst men, animals, or demigods to establish his forgotten relation with the living entities in different species of life. Great authorities like Bhishma, however, escape his bewilderment by the mercy of the Lord. So, like I said, both of them are, by both energies, people are bewildered. Uh, uh, but the great devotees are not bewildered. Bhishma escapes this bewilderment by the mercy of the Lord. So, if we follow these authorities, we can also come to the state. We don't have to get bewildered by who is who. Normally, there's a lot of debate, argument. Oh, no, Vishnu is supreme, Krishna is supreme. Prabhupada once said, why are you worried? There are so many people who don't consider either Vishnu or Krishna as supreme. So first, let's help them. This is internal struggle. Krishna or Vishnu. Don't worry about it. Don't make it a big issue. Come to either of them. It's fine. Hmm? Because Sri Vaishnavas think differently. Gaudiyas think differently. It's okay. I mean, we consider them as supreme. That is the most important, right? But there are so many people who don't consider them as supreme, so we have to go preach to them. And if we get stuck in this internal, conflict, then others will not be benefited. So we have to raise above all this, and everybody should preach uh, the superiority of Vishnu, Krishna, etc. So Prabhupada that is why he's highlighting in this. So some of these purports we might feel like, oh, it's not for me. Of course, one part is just technically understanding, saying that they're the same personality of God. So this is one, right? But other is also to kind of raise above the differences um, and preach this whole message to God, message of God to others. Yeah. Okay. So I'll have to stop here. Just 1 second. Okay. Any questions? Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, one question. So you mentioned that actually Vaishnavas and Gaudiyas think
Sri
differently.
Vaishnavas. Sri
Sri
Vaishnavas.
Sri Vaishnavas. Acha.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Because that's where there was a confusion. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, recently I came across one question
Mm-hmm.
asked by someone. So the question is, during the rule of these Muslim emperors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they destroyed many temples,
Mm-hmm.
okay, including temples in some Vrindavan also.
Mm-hmm.
So, why Krishna didn't? I mean, he told in Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is some kind of disturbance, he will come. I mean, he asked like that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why Krishna didn't came and stop all this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I referred one Maharaj lecture also regarding this. Some
Mm-hmm.
3 years back, Maharaj gave one lecture, same question, Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
So Maharaj told that uh, at that time, most of the people are not following what Krishna told. So how you will expect that Krishna will come and protect you? So he
Mm-hmm.
told like that. Okay.
Okay.
So again, the question is, at that time also, a few devotees were there, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
So I didn't get the message exactly, Prabhu.
Mm. I'm not very sure I understand that answer completely. Right. So two things. From my understanding of whatever I've read in Shastra, this is what I would answer. But obviously, if there's some Maharaj saying, then we have to ask Maharaj to clarify. I won't be able to clarify what he's saying. My understanding is like this, right? Like Lord's. I mean, in the material world, always there is some form of destruction, right? Because material world is deteriorating. No, the Lord will only appear at fixed times. Right? His time of his incarnations are fixed. And it has to reach such a extent for Lord to appear. Right? Like Kalki has to appear at the end of Kali Yuga. Just imagine this time only we are seeing so much of nonsense happening. But Krishna is not appearing now. In fact, even Corona happened, right? Um, so it's still not time for Krishna to come because this is the natural path of deterioration of the different yugas. And it is Lord's wish only that this is happening because this deterioration has to happen. Uh, Now, the important thing is we can also think about questions like, for example, our Mumbai temple, right? When devotees were first, when Prabhupada was first setting up the Mumbai temple, how there were people who came to destroy it, right? And many of our great devotees stood there to protect the deities, to protect the temple. Who can protect? Who needs to protect Krishna? Hmm? The devotees thought, no, 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 I have to protect Krishna. I have to protect Radha and Krishna over there inside. See, the love of devotees is actually shown in all these cases, right? Um, Anything that happens has various implications. Uh, One is the overall expected deterioration in Kali Yuga. The other is obviously the devotees who are involved in those individual situations would have been glorified by their glorious actions. And like I said, why Narada Muni came and told Kamsa, saying that anybody could be the eighth son. So these things are there. It is the Lord's will that things deteriorate to such an extent that he will have to appear at a later point in time. Um, but yeah, so I like I said, I'm not able to completely understand or appreciate what that response is. Maybe we'll have to ask Maharaj, because even when Kalki appears, actually it will be that mostly it will be atheists only everywhere, right? There'll be very few devotees. But for the upkeep of his creation, the Lord comes because beyond that point, this material world cannot deteriorate. That is his design. So he'll appear at that point of time to establish Satyuga. So I don't completely understand the point
Yes,
that
sir. So
if
actually,
because devotees were, yeah.
I shared that. lecture to you, Prabhu. In
Okay,
your
I'll
free
see
time,
it.
you can listen and let me know, Prabhu.
Okay, ठीक है. Okay. Yeah.
Prabhuji, namaste. This is
Hare
Nayak
Krishna. Yeah,
speaking.
yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I have one quick question. So
Mhm.
thing is, even in the past also you have clearly mentioned. Yeah,
Hare
you have
Krishna,
clearly
Prabhuji.
mentioned.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My understanding of just we were discussing, like
Uh-huh.
she said,
Mm.
in school punishment is there.
Mhm.
Principal not come only small things actually.
Mm.
With a small punishment has to give a principal running to come to classes and give
Mhm.
punishment.
Yeah.
When when something extremely happened, then only principal get involved in things actually.
Mhm.
And like another, as you was mentioning, Krishna could have appeared first also. Why we waited till I will come as the eighth child of Devaki and Vasudev?
Mm.
Why seven children has to be killed by Kamsa actually?
Yeah.
Seventh is Maya Devi. Okay, he was not able to kill, but why six has to be killed? So he could have appeared first also and finished. So Lord has his own plan on way, and something path has to be increased. Like it was the early days of Kali Yuga, and if that time Krishna comes and protect everything, then that annihilation how will start? How Kali Yuga will reach at the peak of that path actually.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
understanding that way actually.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Nayak, Prabhu. Yeah, you were asking something.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So what I was asking, I know in the past also we have discussed about this, and you have also clearly mentioned that Krishna avatar is supreme avatar compared to other Dashavatars, and we definitely chant Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, everything. But again, this is something in general. I just wanted to ask this question
Mhm.
that Krishna has appeared on this earth, and then he left his body, and
Mhm.
then we are still chanting Hare Krishna. But
Mhm.
now in this world, if you see like Kalki Avatar is pending, but in the meantime, like when Rama Avatar was there, we also have seen Parashurama in the same yuga.
Mhm.
So likewise, uh, what makes us to see still difference between these Dashavataras, and how we say like Krishna? I mean, I'm not saying Krishna is different from other avatars, but it has been we discussed that Krishna is supreme compared to other Dashavataras. So
Mhm.
is there any distinguish between other avatars and Krishna, or is it
Yeah.
because now we I mean, about me, if I tell, so we have been watching Krishna serial or Ramayana or Mahabharata. So
Mhm.
when we call Krishna, suddenly one picture will appear in front of our eyes. Maybe the person who played the role of Krishna or so, or maybe some picture. So it's a human picture basically. So now, since Krishna left this material world, and then he is a supreme power, so how we have to imagine, like, what kind of imagination we need to have? That's the second question. So if you could little explain this, that would be
Yeah.
really helpful
Yeah.
for my
So
confusion.
yeah. So see, basically, we have to go by Shastra to understand this. So Brahma in Brahma Samhita says that Govindam Adipur Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, right? So Brahma, who is the first living entity of this material world, he is saying Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he's saying, Krishna, you are the Bhagavan Swayam Bhagavan. You are the original Bhagavan, right? Then he says, Ete cham sakala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Then Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamayan Tishtan Nanavataram Akarot Bhuneshu Kintu. So he's saying then there is Nanavatara. Nanavatara in Bhuvana in this material world. There are so many avatars, right? But Govindam Adi Purusham. So Brahma is actually this is after he achieved self-realization. Self-realization actually means that the knowledge was revealed to Brahma from within. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. So Brahma is telling him what he realized, what knowledge was revealed to him. He is writing that in Brahma Samhita, and he says Krishnastu Bhagavan, ete chamsa kala pumsa. Right, this is Bhagavatam. Ete chamsa cha amsha kala pumsa. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Right, so Bhagavatam is saying, or is also saying Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Right. Then Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Brahma Samhita Brahma is saying Ishvara Parama Krishna. Right, so both Bhagavatam and Brahma Samhita both are saying that Krishna is the supreme person. Right, and then Brahma goes further, of course Bhagavatam also, and describes how these all other personalities are actually just coming from Krishna. That is why Prabhupada here in this purport said from Krishna comes first expansion is Balaram. So this expansion means that he is non-different from Krishna but yet different. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us as Achintya Bedha Abhedha. Bedha means different, Abheda means non-different. They are different yet non-different. Because they are present as another personality. Right? Balaram is present as another personality, but he is non-different from Krishna. But Balaram only manifests certain qualities. In Balaram, we should put it this way, technically, if I have to sound technically correct, in the form of Balaram, Krishna manifests only certain of his characteristics. In Narayana, Krishna only manifests certain of his qualities. Right, and then there are other scriptures which are saying, okay, there are 64 significant qualities in the personality of Godhead, and Krishna has all of them, right? And Narayana has, Vishnu has only 60. So there are 4 qualities which are there in Krishna which are not even present in Vishnu. The many instances like Bhagavatam then says like that Vishnu, the Vaikuntapati, Narayana, is also enamored by the beauty of Krishna. Lakshmi Devi is also enamored by the beauty of Krishna. So this is the Saundarya, Madhurya of Krishna, which is not present even in Vishnu. That Vishnu himself is attracted towards Krishna. Mahavishnu in 10th canto of Bhagavatam, Mahavishnu, he makes Krishna get Arjuna. He creates a situation for Arjuna such that, eventually Krishna only ends up bringing Arjuna to Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu is saying, I did all this just to get your darshan, Krishna. Because who's superior one will find it difficult to get darshan of inferior one, or the inferior lower person will find it difficult to get interview of higher person. Like, is it like Modi will find it difficult to talk to us, or we will find it difficult to talk to Modi? Right? Obviously, we will find it difficult to talk to Modi. We are not going to get an appointment. Right? So similarly, Mahavishnu, who is expansion of Krishna, is saying, I never get to meet you. So I created the situation so that I can get your darshan. So there are multiple various shastras, different ways by which we can understand that Krishna is Bhagavan. Even Krishna Leela, when Brahma actually he steals all these cows and covered boys, Krishna manifests himself as all of them. And then when Brahma appears, Krishna immediately shows Vishnu Tattva, Vishnu Murti forms through all those other cowherd and calf bodies that he had accepted. Showing Brahma saying, see, this is Vishnu Tattva. It's all there in me. And then finally, then he showed himself, right? Similarly, in universal form, Krishna first showed universal form, then he showed Chaturbhuja form, then he showed Swayam Krishna form. So, multiple multiple scenarios, multiple ways, Shastra is clearly showing that Krishna is the original Bhagavan. Ishvara, Parama Ishvara, Krishna, right? He is the supreme Ishvara. And Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. So, Krishna is the original person, and all these. So that is why Krishna is called Avatari. He's not called Avatara. No, you talked about Dashavatara. There are zillions of avatars of Krishna. Right? There is just, like Bhagavatam says, they flow like rivulets, like water, like rivulets that flow to the ocean. It's like that. You can't just count them. But yeah, some significant ones are named, and we read or heard about them, etc. Bhagavatam speaks about so many more which you have not heard. First canto, third chapter only. So like this, there are so many avatars. there are different categories of avatars. Right. So, uh, Lila Avatara, Guna Avatara, Manvantara Avatara, Shakti Avatara, Yuga Avatara. So there are different categories of avatars, and each of them have a function. Manvantara Avatara. So each of them have a function to perform. Right. Based on the function, they appear, and these are called scheduled incarnations. Scheduled means there's a particular time when they're going to appear. Huh? So they're scheduled, right? Except only one person's appearance is not scheduled. That is Krishna. He can come at his will, but everybody else has to appear because in these their appearances have been scheduled by Krishna. You have to appear at this time, and that's how the world will progress, such that those avatars will have to appear at those point of time. With respect to Krishna, when we say Krishna left his body, Krishna doesn't take any material body to leave it, right? Krishna's internal and external is spiritual. Krishna's, there's no difference between like we have soul and we have body. Body is material, soul is spiritual. But Krishna's everything is spiritual. There's nothing material. So there's no question of Krishna leaving his body like mortal beings. Uh, so Krishna just leaves um, his body and that pastime happens. It is called Moshala Lila. It is just to bewilder the atheists who think that Krishna is a normal human being and that he died. So why should we consider Krishna as supreme person? He's just for those who are atheists who want to get bewildered, Krishna is just creating more bewilderment. That's all. Hmm. So Krishna doesn't get born. Krishna doesn't die. Uh, think about how Krishna appears also. Uh, he appears in fully decked up. Right when he appeared in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, he's like he's wearing a throne. He has like fully grown, nice black curly hair. Uh, yeah, he's wearing all his various ornaments. And he simply appears in his Chaturbuja form. When we have you seen any child born with four hands? So his birth is different. It's not material birth. He just appears. That's why we say Krishna appears, disappears, and it is true for all the avatars. None of the avatars actually take birth, though they have pastimes of birth because they are in this material world, but they are not conceived like normal human children, for example, right? So we should never talk about Krishna dying. We should talk about Krishna not manifesting or withdrawing his manifestation or becoming disappearing from the vision of the world. Because Krishna is present all the time, right? Everywhere through his uh, Vasudeva expansion, which is Sarvavyapi, which is all pervading. So it's not like Krishna is not present. He just withdraws his form of Krishna, which he mercifully displayed, which he mercifully allowed other people to see. And when the time came, he just withdrew that form. That's all, right? And with respect to Ramayana, Mahabharata personalities, it's a big offense against the Lord to actually do these kind of things. Make um, people who are living such a sinful life play the role of the such of you know supreme lord. And anyway, I mean, this Ramayana Mahabharata have all so many technical mistakes, etc. So first thing is, please don't bring those personalities into vision when you think about Krishna, Rama, etc. Please see what Prabhupada has depicted in Prabhupada's books. Whatever pictures have been painted have been approved by Srila Prabhupada. Whatever forms of the deities that are there in our temples have been approved by Srila Prabhupada, by Acharyas, right? If you want to remember Krishna, you can remember Radha Madhav, for example, who is in Mayapur. You can remember Radha Sham Sundar, who is in Vrindavan, right? These deity forms you can remember, or you can remember those beautiful paintings that are there in Srila Prabhupada's books, right? Which are approved. And so we can think, okay, how does Krishna look? Okay, I can look at this picture of Krishna and understand that Krishna must be like this,
Yep.
right?
That's
So hopefully I've answered all your questions.
that thank but again, there is a lot to learn and study more than our limited understanding, because we are very still immature in terms of to understand
That's
these
okay.
things.
As long as we read Prabhupada's books regularly, we become matured, right? We don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, and
That's the
also
whole idea.
I was very straight enough to tell what I felt because of our
No, it's
childhood.
good.
Yeah,
It's always
yeah,
good to be frank and
yeah.
open, because see, we have to come out of our wrong conceptions, right? Otherwise, we cannot move forward,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So
And
when it
unfortunately for us, the whole world is under wrong conceptions, and they've taught us the same wrong conceptions. Unless we come to
exactly
Srila
what happens,
Prabhupada's books, we
yeah, what
cannot come to the
happens,
right
like if
conception.
I keep that in my side, and then just though I might have some different opinion after hearing to people or Prabhu gurus like you, but still I'll have that somewhere, hidden somewhere, until and unless I reveal that in these kind of
Yeah, yeah,
sessions, talk to you and reveal that, and then upon revealing, you are going to correct that. So that is when we get the answer for such a kind of immature thought, or maybe a kind of a wrong perception. So
yeah,
those
yeah,
things will be waived off only once when it has been disclosed, and then that's been rectified with the right way of answer. So
yeah.
thank you very much for
No, thank
correcting
you
that.
for opening up that question. And
Yes.
yeah, please don't treat me as a guru. I'm just trying to just share whatever Prabhupada is given in his books. See, we all came with different misconceptions when we came to Krishna consciousness, right? But
Yeah.
we have to just read Prabhupada's books with the clear understanding that he is the authority. He is the authority, right? He's come from the spiritual world to give us spiritual knowledge, right? And of course, not just like Prabhupada, right? We are saying anybody in the authorized parampara. It could be Sri Sampradaya, it could be Kumar Sampradaya, it could be from any other Sampradaya as well. We can accept
Yeah.
those teachings, right? Um, but still, I mean, there are still differences in the sense that because, for example, Sri Sampradaya is Vaikuntha worship. So there are still certain differences, but they are all still true. The knowledge is still true,
Yep.
right? But what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave, right, is this inconceivable truth of Achintya Bheda Bheda, which actually supersedes everything. Because
Mhm.
Swayam Krishna came and gave us an understanding which was not given by previous Acharya. So he came as an Acharya, as a devotee.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? So
But
this is supreme.
but if we take, I mean, just again, I'm not continuing on this topic of discussion, but
Mhm.
if we take a sequence of these avatars, I think the Kurma avatar, I think it was the first one, I believe, isn't it?
No, that's why I said there's no, we cannot, I mean, there is, like I said, zillions of avatars, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just we know about some 10 Dashavatars which are popular, that's
Got
all.
it,
And in
got
that
it.
there might be some, and what is this first means what? First when? As in this creation has been going on from eternity, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So we should not try to map them onto our mundane, limited perception of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean different yugas, different times, different universes, different avatars would have appeared. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Guruji. Thank you very
Okay.
much for
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? We're already late. We can conclude. Yeah. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय वाचा कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
हरे
Pranam.